Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about 3DS, PSP, Game Boy, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about PSP emulation with PPSSPP, and PPSSPP just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 1.15 has just dropped, and I'll leave a link to the changelog in the description below. If you are using PPSSPP on Android and you've picked it up through the Google Play Store, you might not notice an update right away. You might get an update in the next few days, and that's completely normal. If you wanted to pick up the APK early, you absolutely can. You can pick it up right from PPSSPP's website. I would argue that version 1.15 is a pretty big release. There's a whole bunch of fixes and a whole bunch of optimizations and performance improvements. For example, they've added integer scaling. They've got a whole bunch of post-processing fixes. They fixed a glitch with SOCOM. There's performance fixes here for Rainbow Six. For texture replacements, you should now be getting smoother frame rates. For optimizations, these are huge. The software renderer got a whole bunch of fixes and performance improvements. For Vulkan, they've got texture upload optimizations. And they've just started rolling out asynchronous readback support in Vulkan. There's also here some lighting shader optimizations. For controls, Android tilt controls have been completely overhauled and fixed. You can now map combinations of buttons to single functions, and custom buttons now support analog inputs. For VR features, they've added in a top-down camera and head rotation control. For other stuff here, Windows Dark Mode is now supported, finally. And if you rewind your save states, it should no longer slow things down. In my opinion, PPSSPP is the best PSP emulator out there, and it's not even close. If you haven't updated PPSSPP in a while, you might want to pick up the latest version. It's a great emulator that just keeps getting better. Next up, this is pretty crazy. Someone has ported Zelda's Adventure from the CDI to the Game Boy. And the results here, in my opinion, are pretty darn good. So John Lay has done some pretty incredible work here, and I'd say they went above and beyond because you can play Zelda's Adventure right in your browser if you wanted to. And there's also a download now button on the website. And on top of all of that, it actually works on Game Boy hardware. So if you've got a Game Boy kicking around and you wanted to play Zelda's Adventure on it, you now can. Moving on, and we're talking about 3DS emulation with Mikage, and we haven't talked about this one in a while, but Mikage tweeted out today, finally, the last piece for system version 9.0.0 is in place. All apps are now detected and shown in the home menu as expected. And this is a screenshot of Mikage, and it's looking good. Now, as time goes on, more and more people seem to be getting impatient with Mikage. I'm getting more and more questions asking me, when is this emulator actually going to release? I don't have an answer for you just yet, and I do recommend to just be patient. This sentence here sums things up perfectly. It really does pay off to take the extra time to do things right from the start. The developer for Mikage is meticulous. They're trying to make this thing perfect. Let them cook. Let them develop this thing, and hopefully when it releases, it's amazing. Moving on, and we're talking about a Game & Watch, a very, very rare Game & Watch, and one that a lot of people didn't know existed. It's a Tetris Game & Watch, and it's a prototype. Now, truth be told, when I first saw this, I thought it was fake. I thought it was a recreation. I mean, it's in incredible condition here, and it's not something you hear about every single day. And I'm still kind of on the fence as to whether or not this is actually real. Now, most of you probably know that Tetris was a huge seller on the Game Boy. Well, it was kind of bundled with it, but at the same time here, if Tetris was on a Game & Watch and it was cheaper than the Game Boy, I wonder if that would have impacted Game Boy sales. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Do you think this is real, and are you interested in it? And last up here, we're talking about PlayStation 1 emulation on Android with Duckstation, and Duckstation just got a brand new update. If you weren't aware, there was an update on the testing channel, and it's been moved over to the mainline version now. From my understanding, this was done to make Duckstation compliant with scope storage, and that way it wasn't delisted from Google Play. Now, it is worth pointing out that before updating Duckstation, it's probably a good idea to back up your saves, and if there is an issue, they have instructions right on the Google Play Store page on how to re-import them. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.